Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany. Welcome to Randomness, where we talk about a little bit of everything, the deep, the weird, and the real. So take a breath, open your mind, and let's get into it. Today, we are talking about something that sounds simple, but is actually one of the most profound and difficult spiritual practices there is: letting go. Now, we hear about letting go all the time. Let go of clutter, let go of toxic people, let go of perfectionism. And sure, those things matter, but today we're going deeper than that. We're talking about the spiritual side of letting go, the soul level work of releasing old identities, outgrown beliefs, past versions of yourself, dreams that aren't yours anymore, and relationships that served a purpose but are now complete. This is the kind of letting go that feels like a death, because in a way it is. You're allowing something to die so that something else can be born. And that process, it's sacred, it's necessary, and it's one of the hardest things you might ever have to do. So today we're going to explore what it really means to let go spiritually, why it's so hard, how to know when it's time, what you're actually releasing, and what happens in that uncomfortable, sacred space between letting go and what comes next. If you're in a transition right now, if you're feeling called to release something, but you're scared, or you're in that in-between place where you've let go, but nothing new has arrived yet, this episode is for you. So let's dive in. So first, let's talk about what we actually mean when we talk about letting go from a spiritual perspective. It's not just getting rid of stuff. It's not just ending a relationship or quitting a job. Those might be the external actions, but the spiritual work is internal. It's about releasing your attachment to something, your grip on how things should be, who you should be, what your life should look like. Letting go is about releasing the story you've been telling yourself, the identity you've been clinging to, the version of the future you had planned, the need to control an outcome, the belief that something or someone is necessary for your happiness or survival. And here's what makes it so hard. We attach ourselves to things as a way of feeling safe and knowing who we are. That job isn't just a job. It's proof that you're successful or valuable. That relationship isn't just a relationship. It's proof that you're lovable. That dream isn't just a dream. It's your whole sense of purpose and meaning. So when you let go of these things, it can feel like you're losing yourself, like you're stepping off a cliff into nothing, like you won't know who you are without them. And you know what? Truth is, you won't. At least not the old you. Letting go spiritually means allowing yourself to not know for a while, to be undefined, to be in transition, to trust that who you become on the other side will be truer and more aligned, even if you can't see that person yet. It's a death and rebirth cycle. And just like in nature, death is necessary for new life. Seeds have to break open. Snakes have to shed their skin. Caterpillars have to dissolve completely in the cocoon before they become butterflies. We are the same way. We have to let the old forms die so the new ones can emerge. And let's be really honest about why this is so difficult. Because I think sometimes spiritual teachings make it sound like letting go should be easy if you are evolved enough. And that's just not true. Letting go is hard for everyone, and understanding why can be helpful. First, there's the fear of the unknown. When you let go of something, you're stepping into uncertainty. You don't know what comes next. You don't know if you'll be okay. Your brain is wired to see uncertainty as dangerous. So, of course, it resists. Second, there's the sunk cost fallacy. You have invested so much time, energy, emotion, or identity into this thing. Letting it go can feel like admitting that all of that was wasted. Even when you know logically that something isn't serving you, it's hard to walk away from your investment. Third, there's grief. Even when you're letting go of something that wasn't good for you, there's still loss. You're losing the familiar. You're losing what could have been. You're losing a part of your story. And grief is painful, so we avoid it. Fourth, there's the fear of disappearing. And this is a big one. If you're not the person with that career or in that relationship or pursuing that dream or holding that belief, then who are you? We build our identities around external things because it gives us a sense of solidity. Letting those things go can feel like dissolving into nothing. And finally, there's the spiritual challenge of trust. Letting go requires trusting that the universe has something better for you, or at least that you'll be okay without this thing. If you don't have that trust, letting go feels reckless or stupid. All of these fears are valid. This is why letting go is spiritual work, not just a practical task. You're being asked to confront your deepest fears about who you are and whether life will support you. So, how do you know when it's actually time to let go of something? Because sometimes we hold on too long, but sometimes we give up too easily. So, how do you tell the difference? Well, let's go over some signs that it might be time to let go. You feel heavy or drained when you think about this thing instead of energized or inspired. Your body knows before your mind does. If something that used to light you up now exhausts you, that's information, right? Or you're only holding on because of what other people will think. Your family expects it. Your friends don't understand why you'd walk away. Society tells you this is what success looks like. But deep down, you know it's not right for you anymore. You've outgrown it. It served you in a previous season of your life, but you've evolved and it hasn't evolved with you. It's like wearing clothes from when you were 15. They were perfect then, but they don't fit now. Or you're forcing it. You're trying so hard to make something work that should flow naturally. You're pushing and manipulating and controlling because you're terrified of what happens if you let go. When the right things come along, there's usually an element of ease, even when they're challenging. You keep getting the same message. Maybe it's your intuition whispering. Maybe it's signs from the universe. Maybe it's multiple people in your life saying the same thing. When you keep getting the same information from different sources, that's usually not a coincidence. You've already let go internally. You just haven't released it externally yet. This is when you're already emotionally detached or moved on in your heart, but you're still going through the motions out of habit or obligation or fear of change. And here's the tricky one. Sometimes you don't know it's time until after you've already let go. Sometimes you have to take the leap and trust that you'll understand why once you're on the other side. If you're unsure, you can always ask for clarity, meditate on it, journal about it, ask the universe for a clear sign. Give yourself a time frame. Be like, I'll see how I feel in 3 months. I mean, you don't have to rush into letting go, but you also don't want to drag out something that's clearly complete. Now, when you let go of something spiritually, you're not just releasing the external thing, you're releasing layers of attachment, identity, and illusion. So let's unpack what you're actually letting go of. You're letting go of who you thought you were. Maybe you identified as someone's partner or as a person in a particular career or as someone who believes a certain thing. When that changes, you lose a piece of your self-concept. And this is disorienting, but it's also liberating because who you thought you were was probably too small anyway. You're letting go of a story about how your life was supposed to go. We all have these narratives, like by this age, I'll have accomplished this, or my life will look like that, or this relationship will last forever. When reality doesn't match the story, we have to grieve the story and let it go. And you're letting go of control. A lot of what we hold on to is our attempt to control outcomes, to make life go according to our plan. Letting go means surrendering that control and trusting that there's a plan bigger than yours, or at least that you can handle whatever comes. And you're letting go of false security. We cling to things because we think they make us safe, but real security doesn't come from external things. It comes from knowing you can be okay no matter what. And letting go is a way of proving to yourself that you're more resilient than you think. And you're letting go of fear. Fear that you're not enough without this thing. Fear that you won't find something better. Fear that you made a mistake. Fear that this is your only chance. When you let go despite the fear, you're choosing faith over fear, and that's very powerful. And sometimes you're letting go of pain or trauma that's been living in your body and your energy field. When you release a relationship or a belief or an identity that came from a wound, you're also releasing the wound itself. And this is deep healing work. Okay, so you've let go. You've released the thing. You've done the hard work of surrendering. And now you're in this weird, uncomfortable space where you're no longer who you were, but you're not yet who you're becoming. This is what I call the sacred in-between. It's the cocoon phase, the winter before spring, the pause before exhale and inhale. And it's really, really uncomfortable. In our culture, we hate this space. We want to immediately fill the void. We rush to the next relationship, the next job, the next identity. We distract ourselves. We stay busy. We do anything to avoid sitting in the emptiness. But this space is sacred. This is where the transformation actually happens. This is where you integrate the lessons. This is where you discover who you are without all the things you were clinging to. This is where you build a new foundation. So if you're in this space right now, know that you are exactly where you need to be. You're not stuck. You're not failing. You're gestating. You're becoming. And here's what you do in the in-between. You rest. You don't need to have it all figured out right now. You let yourself grieve. You feel the feelings instead of bypassing them. You get curious about who you are without the old labels and attachments. You explore, you try new things, you stay open, and you trust the timing. You cannot force the cocoon to open. You can't make spring come faster. There's a rhythm to transformation, and you're being asked to surrender to it. And you practice being okay with not knowing. And this is maybe the biggest lesson of the in-between. You don't know what's next, and that's okay. You don't have to know. You just have to be present with what is. Okay, so real quickly, let's talk about some of the specific things we might need to let go of because they all feel a little different. Like letting go of relationships is probably the most painful, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, or even a family relationship that's toxic. Releasing a person feels like cutting off a part of yourself. The spiritual work here is recognizing that people come into our lives for a reason, a season or a lifetime, and not every relationship is meant to be forever. Some people are teachers who show us something we need to learn, and then the lesson is complete. Honoring what the relationship gave you while releasing it when it's done is an act of spiritual maturity. Letting go of dreams can feel like a betrayal of yourself. You wanted something so badly, worked toward it, believed it would happen, and now you're realizing it's not going to or it's not what you actually want anymore. The spiritual lesson here is that sometimes dreams are signposts pointing you in a direction, not destinations. The dream of being a doctor might actually be about healing. The dream of the perfect family might actually be about love and belonging. When you let go of the specific dream, you might find the essence of it in unexpected ways. Letting go of old versions of yourself is constant work. You're not who you were at 20 or even who you were in the last year. But sometimes we cling to old identities. The party person, the perfectionist, the people pleaser, the rebel. These roles served us once, but they can become prisons. Letting go means saying, I was that, and now I'm becoming something else, and I don't need to know exactly what yet. And letting go of the need to know how things will work out might be the most advanced spiritual practice. We want certainty. We want to see the whole path before we take the first step. But life, unfortunately, just doesn't work that way. Spiritual letting go, it often means taking action despite not knowing, trusting that the path will reveal itself as you walk it. So, how do you actually do this? What are the practices that help with letting go? First of all, create a ritual. Humans have been making transitions with rituals for thousands of years because it works. So, write a letter to what you're releasing and burn it. Bury something that represents the old. Take a bath and imagine washing away what no longer serves you. Cut your hair, rearrange your space. The external ritual helps your psyche understand that something is shifting. Also, you want to grieve fully. Don't bypass the sadness. Don't bypass the sadness. Cry, rage, talk to friends, journal. Let yourself feel the loss. Grief is how we process endings, and if you skip it, it will come back later. Create space to honor what you had and what you're losing. This isn't weakness. It's the only way through. Express gratitude for what was, even if something hurt you or did not work out. There was probably something valuable in it. A lesson learned, a moment of joy, a way you grew. Thanking it helps you release it without bitterness. Thank you for what you taught me. Thank you for the good moments. Thank you for showing me what I don't want. I release you now. Physically release tension. Letting go isn't just mental. No. Your body holds on to things too. So move, dance, yoga, breathe deeply, shake, cry, scream into a pillow. These physical releases help your nervous system understand that it is safe to let go. And you can ask for support from the universe, from friends, from a therapist or spiritual guide. You don't have to do this alone. Say out loud or write down, I'm ready to let this go and I need support. Please help me release this with grace and ease. And you can fill the space with something nourishing. And this doesn't mean immediately replacing what you let go of, but it does mean not leaving yourself empty. Fill your life with things that support who you're becoming. And you can also practice this mantra. I release what is no longer mine to carry. Because sometimes just reminding yourself that you are allowed to let go is enough. You don't have to carry everything forever. You are allowed to put things down. Okay, so what happens after you let go? What's on the other side of all this hard work? And honestly, sometimes more uncertainty. Sometimes another layer of letting go that you didn't see coming. Growth is often spiral, not linear. You release one layer, grow a bit, then realize there's another layer underneath. But also there's space. Space to breathe, space to be, space for something new to arrive. There's clarity. When you're not trying to force something that isn't meant for you, you can see more clearly what is meant for you. And there's freedom. You're no longer defined by that thing you are holding on to. You get to discover who you are without it. There's peace, not necessarily happiness or excitement. Those might come later, but there's a deep peace that comes from alignment, from living in integrity with who you actually are instead of who you think you should be. And eventually there's the new thing, and it might not look exactly how you expected. It might be better or different or more aligned, but something always fills the space you've created by letting go. But you have to let go first. You can't receive with clenched fists. You have to open your hands. Okay. So before we end right now, I want to talk about trust, because ultimately spiritual letting go is an act of trust. You're trusting that you'll be okay without the thing you're releasing. You're trusting that there's something better for you, or at least something more aligned. You're trusting the natural cycle of life, that death leads to rebirth. This trust doesn't mean you're not scared. You can be terrified and still trust. Trust isn't about knowing everything will be fine. It's about knowing that whatever happens, you'll be able to handle it, that you're resilient. And here's something important. Every time you practice letting go, it gets a little easier, not because it stops being hard, but because you build evidence for yourself. You look back and see that you survived other endings. You've let go before, and you are okay. And letting go is a spiritual practice you will return to again and again throughout your life because, well, life is a constant change. We're always being asked to release the old and make space for the new. And the more you can work with this cycle instead of against it, the more ease you'll have in your life. So here's what I want you to take away from this episode. Letting go is not failure. It's not giving up. It's not weakness. Letting go is one of the most courageous, spiritually mature things that you can do. Because when you let go, you're saying, I trust life more than I trust my fear. You're saying, I'm willing to evolve. Even when it's painful, you're saying, I honor what was and I'm open to what's next. And if you're being called to let something go right now, trust that call. Even if you're scared, even if you don't know what's next, your soul knows what you need. And if you're in that in-between space right now, in the unknown about letting go, know that you're not lost. You're transforming. Stay with it. Trust the process. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for listening. If this resonated with you, or if you have your own experiences with letting go that you would like to share, I would love to hear them. This work is hard. It can be scary, but it's sacred, and we need each other's stories to remember we are not alone. So until next time, be gentle with yourself, honor your process, trust the cycles, and know that every ending is also a beginning. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow, and remember, keep your energy grounded, your mind open, and your curiosity alive.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.